guys, and welcome back. Today's video is a follow-up on the basic skirt sloper. I'm going to show you how I transfer, true, and perfect my draped skirt sloper onto paper. After draping, the next thing to do is to transfer your draping onto paper to make a sloper or pattern. The purpose for transferring a draping onto paper is so that 1. You can have the sloper or pattern to make a garment. 2. Alter and manipulate sloper or pattern to make a different design. And 3. For safekeep for future purpose use, because fabric do shrink over time and there's the likelihood that your draped skirt sloper will shrink with time. The first step is to remove all the pins on your draped skirt sloper on both the center front and center back and smooth them out as I'm showing. Next, roll and cut out enough paper to cover both the center front and center back skirt. The easiest way to do this is to lay both the center front and center back on the paper and cut out what you will need. Laying the draping on the paper will give you a good idea of how much paper you will need for your transferring process. It's a good idea to use a tracing paper for your transfer because they are exactly that, tracing paper. They are see-through and you are able to see your lines and curves and trace them out easily. Starting with the center front, draw a 1-inch line along the length of your paper. Secure your draping with a tape. Place your paper over the draping and then draw in your lines and curves. So here I'm using a masking tape and I rolled it inside out to give me a double adhesive side to secure my center front skirt onto the surface of the table. Then I laid my paper over my drape and made sure that the 1-inch line on the center front skirt aligns with the 1-inch line on the paper. I went ahead and traced my lines and curves. So here I'm just tracing in my waistline, dart, and the side seam. I used my French curve ruler to draw in the side seam. Use the straight ruler to draw the hip level and continue to draw my side seam with the French curve. Once that is completed, I added my 1/2 seam allowance all around the skirt. When I got to the bottom of the skirt, I added a 2-inch hemline. And here you will notice that the hem on the draping is not straight. So here is where you correct that and make sure that all the lines are straight. Once that is done, I removed the skirt and draping but left the tape on the surface of the table so I could use it for the center back skirt. Just like the center front, start by drawing a 1-inch line along the length of your paper for your center back skirt, and then lay the paper over the center back and making sure that the 1-inch line on the paper aligns with the 1-inch line on the skirt. So here I'm laying the paper over the center back skirt and making sure that the 1-inch line on the paper aligns with the 1-inch line on the skirt. And then I secure the paper with a tape to hold it in place. Once everything is secured and aligned well, I started to draw in my lines and curves. Here I'm drawing in this waistline and also drawing the 1/2 inch seam allowance on the waist. I traced in my darts, traced my hip level with a straight ruler, and straightened out the bottom of the skirt on the tracing paper. Then I went ahead and drew my sizing with my French curve ruler. and then added my 1/2 inch allowance to the side seam of the skirt as well. And at the bottom of the skirt, I added a 2-inch hem. With the tracing completed on the center front and center back skirt, the next step is to make sure that the dart legs are equal on both skirts. To ensure a straight dart leg, fold the dart to see if the waist curve on either side of the dart matches. So here you could see that the waist curve doesn't match. I'm just going to blend one side into the other with my curved ruler. You can pick whichever side you want to blend into the other. Then I used my tracing wheel to create an imprint of the correction I made and drew the new waistline. Remember, you're blending the actual waist curve and not the 1/2 inch seam allowance. Since the waist curve was corrected, make sure you correct the seam allowance also, as I'm doing. Repeat this process for the center back skirt. If you're finding it hard to fold the dart on a flat surface, a neat trick is to use the pointed corner of the table to help you fold the dart. Then blend the waist curve using your curved ruler and use your tracing wheel to create an imprint of the correction. Draw the new waist curve, and again remember you're blending the actual waist curve and not the 1/2 inch seam allowance. Also remember to make correction on the seam allowance because your waist curve changed. With everything done and completed, I cut out my skirt.